Hi, this is Dr. Deborah Kissen, and I wanted to offer you some tips and tools that you can use to manage your own anxious, stress-filled moments, and also that you can use and offer and make available to your children, whether that be your teens or younger children. So, the first tool that I want to offer you is trying to shift your mindset from one of shame and blame to one of self compassion. So it is very natural that our brains will point out the things that are going wrong, whether on the outside, and point out, oh no, that's dangerous, don't do that. Or in terms of monitoring our own behavior, we'll point out that was a mistake, you can do better. Next time you have an assignment, be more prepared. So it's helpful that our brain is noting dangers that may happen in the future and ways that we can improve our performance next time. But what happens is sometimes our brain then gets stuck in pointing out all of the things that we're doing wrong, with the hopes that if we just keep noticing how lazy or what a failure we are, that's just going to be the motivation that we need to create change in our lives. When in reality, we probably all have experienced what it's like to receive lots of negative feedback. Instead of it being motivating to create change, it actually could lead us to feel pretty hopeless and stuck. So try to shift from noticing ways that we can improve situations to being stuck in a cycle of beating ourselves up. And you can work with your child in, if you're noticing them, I'm so stupid or I'm bad, asking how that's going for them, and maybe ask them in their life, have they ever had a coach who they enjoyed working with that brought out positive behaviors in them? What kind of support did they offer them? And maybe some situations where they had a coach or a teacher that they found it difficult to think about ways to perform better, and instead they just felt terrible about themselves. And then what is that like if they apply that in their own life? Are they talking to themselves more like the positive coach that's offering ways that they can improve in an encouraging fashion, or pointing out all the things that they could do wrong, leading to feeling hopeless? Another tip that I want to offer you is to notice when your anxious mind, is stuck in catastrophic thinking mode, and trying to challenge that thinking pattern with more realistic thinking. So, what you could do throughout the week is notice when you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, chances are there's a catastrophic thought underneath that moment. So catch yourself when you're feeling uncomfortable. Maybe notice 0 to 10 how uncomfortable I am. Keep a log. And then if you're at, let's say, a 7 or above, try to take a moment to jot down on your phone or on a piece of paper what 0 to 10, how am I feeling in terms of discomfort? Maybe a 7. And then notice, what am I thinking in this moment? And there might be a few thoughts coming up, but try to notice if there's a theme to the thoughts. I'm not going to be prepared for the meeting. I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get laid off, or my team's going to think that I'm not contributing. I'm going to be a disappointment to my family. So if there might be a few catastrophic thoughts, but try to notice if there's one main thought that pulls them all together, that I'm going to fail or everyone's going to judge me. Then try to be objective and notice what is the support for that thought. So in what ways is that thought accurate? So perhaps in prior meetings you did get some negative feedback. And then also weigh the evidence for how true is that thought? How true is it that everyone in that meeting is going to think that you're a failure, that you're going to disappoint your entire family? And then after reviewing the evidence for the catastrophic thought and offering yourself a more realistic interpretation of the situation, notice your distress level. Did it shift from that 7 or 8 maybe to a 5. It doesn't mean you're not still stressed, but you've brought down some of those hot emotions and possibly able to think more clearly in an automatic fashion. An additional tool, top cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT tip that I want to offer you is how to engage in exposure-based living. What this means is how to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. And you don't have to every day, always, all day long, pick the biggest challenges, but it just means every day looking for opportunities to teach your brain that in fact you are resilient, that you can handle so much more than you even know that you can handle. So you could create an exposure hierarchy in your own life of what would be in of your top challenge zones. Maybe it's social anxiety. What would be a 10? Maybe going to a party alone where you didn't know anyone. Maybe you're not going to do that today, but perhaps a 4 for you would be going to the school's parents' coffee in a new school situation where you don't know anyone else and staying for at least 10 minutes. So try to find a challenge for yourself each day that might be a 4, might be a 5. Feel free to go for a 10. You just might not. And by engaging in these challenging behaviors and teaching your brain that the catastrophic outcome is not likely to occur. And if a challenging outcome does occur, you're going to handle it in some way that you don't even know yet how you're going to handle. And by engaging in these behaviors, you could create a family culture of each day comparing notes. How did we challenge our anxiety? How did we strengthen our ability to tolerate life's difficult moments? And a final tip I wanted to review with you is each day finding an opportunity to work your mindfulness mental moments, your mental muscles. And so what that means, we talk about mindfulness and it sounds like something we have to engage in for hours at a time or engage in deep practice, but it's really about its strength training your mind's ability to attend to the current moment. And when it gets lost and gets caught up in different thoughts and feelings that will pop up, which it will, how do we gently return our attention back to the present moment? So you could find opportunities. You could mindfully wash the dishes and notice the suds on your hands and the sound of the dishes clinking into the dishwasher. You could choose to mindfully take a shower and notice the water and the smell of the soap and the conditioner. So it's not realistic that all day long we're going to be mindfully attending, but picking a few moments throughout the day that we're going to actively put our attention on the current moment, notice what distracts us, and then bring our attention back when it gets caught up in something, which it always will. And as a parent, if you're a parent watching this, it's a really nice opportunity to practice mindful parenting or connecting mindfully with your child or with your spouse. And you could practice what it feels like at a normal moment that maybe you're talking to your child, but also mentally going through the list of what else you have to get done that day, or however you're normally engaging, which does involve some level of multitasking often in modern life. And then switch gears and try for 2 minutes. You could set a timer for 5 minutes that you're going to just anchor your attention on your child and fully listen and engage and put your attention in their direction. And then when your mind gets caught up in a thought, and it will many, many times, notice that thought, notice that feeling if it's an uncomfortable feeling, and then just gently put your attention back towards your child. Or you could practice with your spouse. You could practice with your pet, mindfully petting your dog and really putting your attention on this beautiful moment that you're having with someone or a pet in your life that you care dearly about. So just a few easy to implement tools and ideas you could inject throughout your busy life. It doesn't involve hours of therapy, but just a couple of moments throughout your day to give yourself the healing and the stress management that you deserve and your family deserves.